Got it.
All right. Hey, everybody, TGIF. It is Friday. We're getting closer to the holidays and we are excited to be here. And I got to say something. I got to say that, I'm getting more excited now that I'm starting to get more organized. I felt like very unorganized and then I feel like I started to get it all back together. But, it could definitely make a difference when you feel that way and you get it together. But I want to say that Lori and I were talking on the phone and we were talking about what we were going to do today. And this is a famous quote from both of us. It'll be like, oh, you're going to think I'm crazy, but what about this? And so this is what happened. And I said, OMG, I think this is a great topic because I think the topic we're going to talk about when I turn it over to Lori, she'll tell you, I think it's a great idea because you know what? It's the hustle, it's the bustle, it's the season. We are stressed, we are exposed. It's cold and flu season, and things are clicking and things are lurking around there. And we got to take care of ourselves, guys. If we want to have successful holidays and we want to have a good season coming ahead, we got to think about ourselves and what we got to do. And with that, Lori, I'm going to say you look awesome with I love you in red and black. That's you
Oh,
could use
thank
that
you.
more Christmas look colors and stuff. But
Thank
how are
you.
you doing today?
I'm doing actually really good, considering what I've been through the last few days. I have a major canker sore in my mouth, huge canker sore underneath my tongue. And that's when I called Debbie yesterday and I said, you're gonna think I'm crazy, but let's do a segment on remedies and things for canker sores as well as cold sores. Because we're getting in that time of year where our nose are running and all kinds of colds and everything's happening. But it's just amazing. When you shouldn't wait till you're in major pain to try to take care of these two things because it's like too late, because then you have to go and do the cycle. And the cycle could take 7 to 14 days for either one, either the canker sore or the cold sore. But I'm just going to state one thing first, and then we'll go into the canker sores. Did you know that there's a big difference between canker sores and cold sores? Canker sores are in your mouth. I call them mini ulcers, okay? And they're like a white, or you could see them, they're usually on your tongue or on the side of your cheek or whatever. Those are not contagious, but they're very, very painful and can last up to 14 days. Now, cold sores, I'm sure you've seen people have it on the outside of their mouth. Believe it or not, it's from a herpes virus. Not the same as the sexual herpes virus, but a type of a virus. And the difference between is a canker sore, you can get rid of, and maybe it's not going to come back. But a cold sore is very contagious, and once you've had it, you'll get it throughout your life. And the only example I have of that, I have two examples actually. One is my son Tony. When he was 10 months old, he got the fever blisters inside and out of his mouth. And ever since then, every time that he's really stressed, I'm going to say the word stressed, he gets it in his mouth. He told me that thank God he had a beer the other day because it was covering his sore. But as far as canker sores, I've been getting canker sores since I've been a little kid. And I mean, a couple of times they were so bad that I had to go to the doctor and they had to give me some special medication. But these are just two things that I want you to think about when we're talking about remedies. Is one's contagious, cold sore, and the canker sore is not. And with that, Debbie, let's talk about some things with canker sores, how we could get rid of them, some home remedies.
Absolutely. Do you want me to go or you?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. Well, first of all, let's just think of something that I'm just going to bring up. We're going to go through the list that we have in front of us, but I want to make aware of something that I have in my house that I use for like a gazillion things, and it's coconut oil. You guys, this stuff is amazing. And I want to just share something because I was telling Lori about this because most people don't know this. And you'll, when you open up the jar of coconut oil, especially in the cooler times, like in the summer, sometimes you'll find it will be very liquidy,
Yeah.
maybe warmer in your cabinet. But you don't need to store this in the refrigerator, but you put it in your cabinet and look at how it gets really thick. It's like that. Well, a lot of times I'll take a spoon of it out and put it maybe in a little container, like a bigger, like that, and have it, use it to even rub on your hands and stuff like that. I mean, it's amazing. It's good in your hair. It's really medicinal, but it's been known to be very good with your canker, in your mouth. And one of the things that people do to help with the bacteria, which will help for preventative, because we're talking what we can do to help it and also prevent it, is do they call it like a swishing kind of thing? And so you put it in your mouth in a little tablespoon, and you do the swish, 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 and you do it as long as you can. I mean, optimally as long as possible, but after a while, it's kind of hard to do. But you cannot, as gross as it sounds, okay, you cannot spit it into the sink, because what happens is that as it goes down your drain, it's going to get like this, and you're going to have plumbing issues.
Yeah.
So use like a paper towel or something, just spit as much as you can out. The good news is it tastes good. Okay. So it's really good. But another way that you can also use it is you can put it into your coffee. Now, remember, coffee is acidic. So if you have canker sores, it's hard. You got to try to balance that coffee. You can balance it with the coconut oil, but you know what else you can balance your coffee with? Baking soda. Now, you're not going to use a lot though, because it's going to taste really salty and odd. So you just want a little sprinkle. And I don't know if you do this, Lori, but when I make my big pot of sauce, I call it sauce or gravy sauce, whatever, I'll either put a potato in it or I'll put a little bit of baking soda, and that's supposed to cut the acid of the tomatoes.
Wow, I didn't know that. I usually put a little bit of sugar, but
Okay, sugar's good.
I
But
have
yeah,
tried. It's amazing how many things baking soda cures.
totally.
It's really crazy. It's absolutely crazy. They were saying too about you could take and make like a paste with the baking soda and
Hmm.
your wound or whatever inside. I call it a wound, but
Well, it is when you think about it. Think about an ulceration of your, like, if there's your stomach lining, well, then this is inside your mouth. And it's like, I know what you're talking about. I've had it before too, But
yeah,
one of the things it says on here, lemon balm, antiviral properties of lemon balm, okay, is really something that's good to use, and that'll help. Like, you can put this on the area, whether it's kind of trial and error. Try the coconut or try the lemon balm, or any over the counter. Lysine is a really good. I was saying lycopene before, but it's really lysine. Lysine is you can get it in an oral form, or you could get it in a cream form. And it's been very well known, especially, I'll tell you, it's very soothing. And I think they even make them, if correct, I hope I'm right about this, I'm pretty sure, where it has like a little like pain stuff in it. So when you apply it, it kind of puts a little shield on it, kind of makes it feel better.
yeah,
And of course, ice, you guys, ice too. And
yeah,
with that, Laura, I'm turning it back to you.
yeah. No. Ice is good. I'm sorry to interrupt
Yeah.
you. I was just gonna say that we are not experts on any of these things. These are
Right.
things that we've been looking up information. So I would suggest to go ahead and look on YouTube and other places to get more information. Debbie, tell me about the coconut pulling. How does that work?
Well, okay, so when you do the pulling like that, what it does is it actually gets the bacteria, and it helps to actually clean your teeth. It takes bacteria off there. It actually can whiten your teeth. If you do it consistently, which I got to kick it in the rear and do it more, it helps immensely. And just like I said before, you would want to just then spit it back out into, like, a paper towel. And, they say to do it if you can, morning and night, but even if you can catch it one time a day, and if you could do it midstream, do it midstream in the day, it's not going to hurt you, you know?
And that was an interesting too. I was watching on YouTube this morning. And it's on this list too. Is apple cider vinegar. I know it's really acidic,
I know.
but for some reason it really helps out with things. It helps with burns. It helps with anything. And they suggest that it comes with a dropper, and you do a dropper in your mouth, put it under your tongue and hold it for about 3 seconds to a minute. And then it's supposed to really help you. People that have these issues have a lot of acid in their system.
Right.
And the only reason why I know that, because I do. And it's just causing me to have more and more different kinds of sores and stuff in my mouth. And I'm so glad that there's all these things that people could do to avoid it, like stop eating some spicy and salty and acidic foods.
Mhm.
That's the worst thing for you. And especially when it's acting up. I
Right.
can't believe how much I was moaning yesterday, like I was 2 years old. I was hurting so bad. I'm better today because I think of the stuff that I did. But are you familiar with the zinc lozenges?
I've seen them and they're really good. And you can find some very interesting zinc lozenges that have different flavors in them that kind of make them more palatable because, I mean, and they're good. And a lot of times you can find them at the health food stores or Fresh Time or, that. But I want to go back to something you just said a second ago, though, Laura.
Yeah,
I don't know if you realize this, but, when you talk about apple cider vinegar is really good, but you want to get the mother. Okay. Now this sounds so weird, but it's called the mother and it's in the bottle. It's in my fridge. It's, a larger bottle, runs you a little bit, but they do sell it at Aldi's and it's organically, naturally the way the composition is. And, I have family here that has acidic problems and yes, it is so good for it. You would think it wouldn't be because it is kind of acidic, but it's in moderation that you use it. And you know what you can do too, is you can put it in your salad dressing.
right.
Good salad people like put it in your salad dressing and have it on a daily basis. They even say to pop it in like your water a little bit. It helps to kind of burn more calories and also metabolize and stuff. Get your metabolism going. But it is very good with if you feel the onset of something going on, like you think it's a cold, a sore throat or whatever, and a cold sore, you should do the same thing, like get it, swish it if you can, like you said, put it under your tongue and it's huge. So I just
Yeah.
wanted to take that on.
You know what? Last year for us being through all the stuff that we went through with the COVID and everything,
Yeah.
this is just a little bit of what you could do to stop the prevention of the sores. I
Right.
This is just touching a little bit, but there's so much information. Now going into canker sores, have you ever had one of those? What is it?
I know I had one on my lip one time. It was a while ago though,
Me too. And that is, like I said, that one's not curable. You could do stuff to it to stop the pain, but it's not curable. And I looked up and I found 7 best remedies for to take care of your cold sores. First of all, another good thing is we talked about the number one thing that agitates cookies, anything to eat, desserts, anything is cooking. I mean, sorry, I'm losing my track of thought. Is stress. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Thank you. Stress is the number one thing that causes this and every other kind of disease to act up. So it makes sense because my son just got over a huge cold sore and he's under a lot of stress between his home and school and in his business. So that makes sense. And I know I've been under a lot of stress. And so I'm thinking that's how I got the cold sore. Do you have anything to add on to that, Deb?
I do because like for instance it says other things too, like I think I'm looking at like where it says fever, sore throat, aches, pains, headache, and stuff like that. Your flu season is around here, and then we went over a pandemic, okay, and now people don't know what's what. We don't know what we have if we get something, right? Let's put it that way, okay. And right now, I don't know. I mean, I'm not going to quote this and say that I know a lot, but they're saying that they're kind of classifying COVID now to be more of a cold. So they're kind of feeling that the mutation has gone through, and this is what they're saying. A lot of the like sources and stuff, and so I'm sure over time it's going to get better. But we're never going to be able to say we have this, we have that, whatever. But as you just said, and you mentioned it, you hit it on the nail with the stress and everything, you guys.
Right.
How many times have you heard Lori and I talk about stress being one of the worst things? And we do know that it's virtually impossible to be stress-free. Okay. Let's just face it. Okay. I think it doesn't matter how old you are. There's something going on.
Right.
I think we have to be very mindful and not just be like, I'm so stressed out. I'm so stressed out. I'm so this, I can't this. No, you got to think to yourself, what can I do to actually change that, and let me make a change in what my activity load is, or try to, dissect it. I mean, I'll give you a perfect example. Lori helped me through this a little bit. I have so much on my plate of to-dos, and I have less time. Okay. So but it's because of the time of year and a couple other things. And then, and trying to get Christmas stuff done. This is, I'm not talking to the choir right now, because everybody's going through this. And so trying to manage it, like those deadlines of making things happen. And you guys, it's a little bit crazier this year because you're not getting things as fast as you want. Like the stores might not have them. And then shipping. I had something that was supposed to be shipped here a week and a half ago, and it's supposed to arrive today. Well, good thing it was ordered early, but still, you know what I'm saying? So there's so, and then, Christmas cards, if you do them, and Lori and I are into the giving trees and the giving things, and there's deadlines that have to be done ahead because those people have to get it to other people. So, we're all for the good. We're all for the good, right? But we're still stressed. It doesn't mean it has to be trauma. It doesn't mean that it has to be, something, difficult that you're facing, although that can be the case. We just got to think, what can I do? So I'm going to just bring it to one thing. I know Lori does this. I know I do this in my household. Hopefully, if you're not doing it, maybe this will be part of your New Year's resolution. You need to take an active role in looking at your overall diet and your intake of, nutraceuticals and different things that are good for you. We were also talking about there's so much out there. Like we just said, apple cider vinegar. We said coconut oil. My own daughter takes oregano oil and puts it into her stuff. It's supposed to be really good for your immune system. Why don't you take some time out and study what you could do to improve yourself and make yourself, as we talk about, the best version that you can be of yourself? Because that's what this whole group is for the health and wellness of you. It doesn't mean, we're talking about one sole subject. We're talking about an overall wellness, topics we choose hit on things that you may be experiencing. So with that, Laura, I'm turning it back to you.
Wow, Debbie, that's so great. What you said, it's also true. When you're under a lot of stress, your body reacts a certain way. And if it's something that you had years ago that's on your mouth, it's like I said, it's mainly, it could be a herpes virus, not the sexual one. I want to say, you gotta take care of yourself. There's all kinds of methods to take care of cold sores. They can last up to 7 to 14 days. And they suggest after 14 days, if you don't get a cure, that you go see your doctor. They have all kinds of things they can give you for now, but they do try to treat it as an outpatient, and you getting the medicine and everything. But a lot of things that cause these cold sores could be from fevers. It could be from, like Debbie said, surgery, or your hormones being and not fluctuating right, going into menopause and stuff. But there's no denying that they hurt. There's no denying, So I want to make sure that everybody does what they can and have all the stuff ready in their house, so that when it happens, you guys are ready to use it. It's not going to go bad. It's just some great tools, because the longer you wait after you have your tooth pulled, or you have work done on your mouth, and then this happens, the longer you wait to go and get it fixed, it's going to take longer for you to get better with it.
Can I add something too? We didn't even listen on talk. Yeah, it wasn't anything about like actually technically cold sore, but it's really also really good that I don't know if a lot of people understand, and I learned this in about the last 3 years. I learned that honey, okay?
Yeah, honey's one of them.
But honey that is from your area. So anybody that actually is a beekeeper person that does honey, and you could find some of these kinds of honeys at some of your more local, smaller little stores. I don't know about Fresh Time, but Fresh Time does, but maybe Trader Joe's too. But you want to go for that type of honey. You want to get that one that's been actually, how do you want to say that? The beekeepers do it in your area within 300 miles of where you live, because it will actually help you with your allergies as well. And it also is really good to build your immune system. And a cup of tea and honey and some of the other components, you could pop some apple cider vinegar in there. You could do a lot of stuff and have something, and maybe don't drink it too warm, but drink it a little bit. It's actually going to make it feel better. you
Yeah,
know.
well, and like I said, that's the ticket for it to go away and not get it back. And
Yeah.
so I don't know, Deb, I got 10 million things on this list, but I think we hit on all the things.
I think we did too, guys. And I think that here's the thing. Let's bring it back to this. Let's just say, you know what? We appreciate each and every one of you guys. Anybody that listens to us, we just say thank you, and we say, hey, I hope that what we're doing is helping. Like Lori and I say, we are not by far an expert,
Right.
but we will say thank you for letting us and allowing us to share, because here's the thing, we learn too. We
Yeah,
learn from this, and
right.
it prompts us to think about different things. And I think that, you know what, in the world of craziness that we live in, for something to be positive and to be able to be helpful is the way to go. So we're going to encourage you guys to share us, help other people. You know, we would want to grow. We're on a place where we can just grow. And so we ask that you help share us to your friends and family. And with that, Laura, I'm going to say, you want to close us out?
Yeah, I do. Oh, you know what, everybody, have a wonderful weekend. In the Chicago area, it's going to rain a little bit, but at least it's not snow. But we'll see you next week. Enjoy your weekend. Get your shopping done. Enjoy family. And with that, I'm Lori,
And I'm Debbie.
and we're friends helping friends. Take
Take
care
care.
now. Bye bye.
Take care.